The Giants have been making moves this offseason that actually put this team in a way better spot going into the next season. Last season, we watched this Giants team struggle, but what they were able to do in one offseason to make this team so much better is surprising. It started when they made a blockbuster move to trade for Brian Burns. I know we've been seeing for some time the Panthers going back and forth, holding on to Burns and not giving him up for anything, but the Giants finally made it happen. But we also watched in the beginning of free agency as Saquon went to the division rival, but the Giants wasted no time upgrading this roster. They acquired outside linebacker Brian Burns from the Panthers in exchange for a 2024 second-round pick, a 2025 fifth-round pick, and a swap of fifth-rounders this year. Burns is one of the NFL's top pass rushers, having played his first 5 seasons with the Carolina Panthers. Over there, he recorded 46 sacks and earned Pro Bowl selections in 2021 and 2022. He joins a Giants team that ended the 2023 season with 34 sacks, tied for the 4th lowest in the league. The Panthers went 2-15 and had the NFL's fewest sacks with 27. 8 of them were by Burns. In 2022, Burns achieved a career-high 12.5 sacks and has never finished a season with fewer than 7.5 sacks. That was his rookie total in 2019. Burns' 46 sacks ranked 5th in Panthers history and are tied for the 12th highest total in the NFL since his debut. Among players from the 2019 draft class, he ranks 3rd in sacks, trailing only Nick Bosa and Max Crosby. Burns has also recorded 7 career multi-sack games. Standing 6'5" and weighing 250 pounds, he was the 16th overall pick in the 2019 draft, 1 spot ahead of the Giants' selection of defensive lineman Dexter Lawrence. Now, 3 of the top 17 picks from the draft, including quarterback Daniel Jones, will be playing for the Giants. The Giants' defensive line now consists of Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeaux, and Dexter Lawrence. In an NFC East that appears wide open once again, the Giants have established a formidable strength on defense. Defensive end is arguably the second most important position in football, and although the Giants gave up draft assets and invested heavily in Burns, securing a top-tier pass rusher is a valuable move. This scenario mirrors what we saw with the Bears at last season's trade deadline when they acquired Montez Sweat and promptly signed him to a substantial contract. It's far better to have an elite player at the edge position than to lack one. The Giants made the right move by bringing him into this roster as he immediately improves this team. When you lose key players, you need to find their replacement. While some may still be feeling the loss of Saquon Barkley, the addition of Devin Singletary as a running back should not be overlooked. Entering his 6th season, Singletary has recorded 4,049 rushing yards in his career and has recorded 30 or more receptions in each of those last 4 seasons. In 2023, Barkley rushed for 962 yards and 6 touchdowns, adding 41 receptions for 280 yards and 4 touchdowns. Singletary, on the other hand, rushed for 889 yards and 4 touchdowns with 30 receptions for 193 yards. Barkley started 14 games last season while Singletary started 10. In the 2024 NFL Draft, the Giants made a notable move by selecting wide receiver Malik Nabers, a 2023 unanimous All-American. This pick is expected to address the team's previous lack of playmakers and potentially fill in the long-standing void left by OBJ. There were some questions prior to the draft on what the Giants were going to do, but they got one of the best receivers in the entire draft, arguably the best. Nabers earned unanimous All-American honors in 2023, leading the nation with 120.7 receiving yards per game. He topped the FBS in plays of 20+ yards with 34 and 30+ yards 17 times. He was first in the SEC for receptions with 89 and receiving yards with 1,569. He was second in the league for receiving touchdowns with 14. Nabers concluded his LSU career as the school's all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards. He is one of only 2 players in LSU history to surpass 3,000 receiving yards. Nabers ranked 7th in LSU history with 21 receiving touchdowns and led the SEC in receptions for 2 consecutive years. He finished his career with at least 1 reception in 37 games. Nabers can challenge defenses at all 3 levels. He's exceptionally hard to tackle after catching quick hitches, screens, and slants, almost transforming into a running back with his elite contact balance. He can also beat cornerbacks deep, finding an extra gear to separate. Projected as a top 10 pick, Nabers chose to skip the athletic testing at the NFL Combine, opting instead to showcase his skills at LSU's Pro Day, and it was well worth the wait. He recorded a 40-yard dash time of 4.38 seconds, a 42-inch vertical jump, a 10'9" broad jump, and 15 bench press reps. Nabers is ready to take over the Giants' #1 receiver playmaker role. The team's wide receiver group is relatively small, but their yards after catch potential looks excellent on paper. Nabers will provide immediate support for Jones. Regardless of Jones' long-term future in New York, whoever is playing quarterback for the Giants will benefit from Nabers' abilities. LSU receivers have a history of excelling in the NFL after being selected in the first round, including recent All-Pros Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, who signed a historical contract with the Vikings. The Giants selected OBJ from LSU in the first round of the 2014 draft, and he has since made 3 Pro Bowls and won a Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams. Nabers will join a wide receiver group in New York that includes Darius Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson, neither of whom is considered a #1 NFL receiving option. This gives Nabers the opportunity to shine from day one. The Giants knew exactly what they were doing when they decided to select Malik Nabers instead of going with a potential Daniel Jones replacement. The Giants' offensive line hasn't been the greatest, and besides Saquon, there hasn't really been any help for Jones in the receiving game, so this will be a fresh start for Daniel Jones. The Giants this offseason did bring in Drew Lock to potentially start or back up Daniel Jones, but Luck has shown some good things when he's had to step in and play, especially last year in Seattle, specifically going all the way down on the Eagles to win the game. The Giants lost Tyrod Taylor, so they needed a replacement, and they got a great addition. A lot of fans want to move on from Jones, but he has shown in the past that he can lead a team into the playoffs. With the additions to the defense as well, the Giants look like they can be a threat again in the division and be able to make it back into the playoffs. Jones is said to be the starter once he returns from injury. The New York Giants had an active offseason as they aim to strengthen their roster for the 3rd season under Brian Daboll. Despite losing key players like Saquon Barkley and Xavier McKinney in free agency, the Giants managed to recover well with some strategic addition, making this defense stronger and also adding to this offense that lost one of the best running backs in the game is the best thing the Giants could have done. Devin Singletary will find a ton of success with this offense. Malik is going into an offense where he has an opportunity to shine. He will immediately be the #1 option and a starter. New York's standout move this offseason was trading for Brian Burns, creating a formidable defensive line trio alongside Kayvon Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence. This is very scary for other teams and make the Giants overall already so much better than what they were last year by bringing in Burns. The Panthers were holding on to him forever and finally traded him, and now he is on a defense that has a trio that is ready to shake up the league. The Giants came off a very rough season last year and added a ton of pieces that help make this team playoff contenders. It's going to be interesting to see how they manage the quarterback situation as well. The Giants' offseason additions are ready to immediately make an impact. They upgraded the offensive line with veteran depth and strengthened the pass rush, which is expected to be a defensive cornerstone. Facing one of the toughest schedules in 2024, competing in the NFC East presents its own challenges that won't be easily overcome, so the front office had to do everything they could to prepare them for next season. If you made it this far and you haven't already, make sure you go down below and you subscribe so you never miss a Giants video or any video at all. Comment down below what you're looking forward to most for next season. Leave a like as well. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.